If you're looking for all the answers, I still don't have them. But what I do have is a particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people who mislead, misrepresent, or misinform the sports card industry. So if you don't do that, I'll let it go. But if you do, I'm going to talk about you. Welcome, guys, to a new episode of the Sports Card Investigator. My name is Andy. I am the aforementioned Sports Card Investigator, and I have some exciting news. Our channel has a sponsor, the great guys over at Grade Saver Pro. And you guys heard me talk about the great stuff that they're doing over at Grade Saver Pro on the last episode. I love this company. The Grade Saver Pro, easy pull tab, simple but an amazing innovation. Their Pro Card Shields. Go visit those guys over at gradesaverpro.com. Use discount code INVESTIGATOR and you will get 25% off your entire order. And those guys also gave me some product and some other cool stuff to give away, and I will be doing so after each and every episode going forward, including this one. So stay tuned till the end, and I'll give you information on how you can be eligible to get some really free, cool stuff. So, went to the Philly Card Show a couple weeks ago. Had a really great time. Went on Friday for the sneak peek. It was a good time. Not too crowded at all. And if it's in your budget, I would definitely recommend that when you guys go to the shows, do the VIP or do the sneak peek or whatever it is, get early access. When I was there, a lot of the vendors were still setting up, which was cool, but I got the lay of the land, got to talk to some people, made a couple purchases, got to chat with the vendors, which was really nice. Overall, I would guess that the show was about 70-30 vintage, give or take, which wasn't unexpected, and it was fine. Saturday was a different story. It was packed to the gills, but the highlight of my day on Saturday was I got to meet the one and only Ed Weskergriff. What a nice guy he was. We had a great conversation. It's always great to meet the people you talk to through the hobby. And if you haven't already, check out Ed's channel, Weskergriff. Really good stuff there. So a couple observations for the show. I spoke to some of the dealers and talked to them. I wanted to get their take on ultra modern basketball, where we're going with that. It's because it's what I do. You guys know that. The common theme, though, was how ungradable the ultra modern stuff is. Specifically Select. We talked a lot about Select. Some Prism, but a lot of Select because that was the hot topic. We talked about, again, the quality control is just not good. A lot of the dealers were selling their raw cards, and they were candid about it. They were saying, look, the quality control is not good. It's not worth for them to grade because, one, the price of grading, I think it just went to $150 when I was there. And second, because the cards were just, again, beating the dead horse, bad quality control. We also spoke a little bit about Panini and how they just are producing the crap out of Select, and they were not, as I am not optimistic that this was going to change going forward with Optic, but we will see. We talked a lot about that stuff in the previous episode, but it definitely was nice to have affirmation from people in the industry. I spoke to one young man who was a dealer, a good guy. He was showing me a gold Select Anthony Edwards card. Beautiful, beautiful card, except for the fact that it wasn't gradable. Such a shame. On its best day, I think you probably could get a 9 out of it, but most likely 9 out of 10 times an 8, maybe lower. And he was torn. He said one came back from PSA recently that got an 8. And you guys know with PSA 8s, with Ultra Modern, sometimes they're worth less than a raw card. So it was just kind of like that catch-22. And now you can't even ask for a minimum grade anymore. I don't know if you guys know this. It came out a little while ago, but PSA has stopped doing the service for minimum grade. So if you get it back and it's a 7 or a 6, you kind of run the risk of damaging the card if you decide to crack it out. I know you guys are probably good at it, and I've done my share, but it's always a risk when you do that. But then again, we're talking, if the highest grade that it gets, and it's only out of 10, gets an 8, then he'd be in good shape. But again, he's rolling the dice until we see how many more are graded, and that could be a while. But anyway, that was an interesting conversation. And you guys know if you're going to go to the show, have a plan. I think that's an important point to make. Anytime you're going to go to a show, unless you're not going to have any money in your pocket, you're just going to look, then that's a different story. But have a plan, or you will get overwhelmed. Advice I'm going to give you is worth what I'm charging it for, nothing. So take it as you will. But for me, bring cash, set a spending limit, know the comps on your cards that you're interested in. Don't be afraid to look them up in front of the dealer. I was doing that with the dealers on some of the cards I was interested in. Know what you're willing to spend, and probably most importantly, don't be afraid to walk away. My friend Ed, when we met, he had a plan. He was going to go to a certain vendor, and he had some value boxes he was going to look through, and he stuck to that plan. It was a great plan. He made some great buys, and he talks about them in the episode that he did about the Philly card show. For me, a two-part plan. First part failed miserably. I wanted to look at ultra modern cards of this year's class of the guys I liked. Look them over, see if any cards were gradable, and if they were, make an offer and pick them up. That plan failed miserably because none of the cards I looked at, and I looked at a lot, they just weren't going to pass my grading test. Did have a backup plan. Second objective was to look for graded cards, specifically PSA 10s, ultra modern cards of players that I like, that I have interest in, that I think I'm going to look at to do well this year. Keeping in mind the cost of the grading at this very moment is $150. Then factor in what the lowest cost of a grade may be in the future, $50, $80, I don't know. And then I was going to look at those cards that were already graded and maybe not even at the cost of grading. Kind of no-brainers, right? PSA 10 that I like with the cost of the raw cards plus the cost of the grading made sense, and you could definitely get some good deals. I picked up John Morant Revolution, underrated set in my opinion. We talked about that before. A tough grade too, and I picked him up for less than it would be to grade him. So that was a no-brainer for me. I also was looking for a specific card for my son, Ty, and mine personal collection, which was a John Morant Optic Purple. I liked it for many reasons, and I got a good deal on that. The dealers, for the most part, that I talked to, I had to walk away from some, but to the ones I talked to, were willing to negotiate price with me, and they were letting it go for either at the last sale or even sometimes below comps, which was really, really good to see. A pleasant surprise. Also, lots of sealed wax. Lots of people buying sealed wax, which I didn't quite get. I'm guessing breakers, but who knows? I hope they weren't buying it to rip it on their own. But free will, as I always say. And a lot of cash. A lot of cash. It reminded me of my old life. And of course, some unbelievable cards. Where the kids say nowadays, some bangers. Speaking of bangers, my friend Rich sent me a video that Card Porn posted of Ken Golden when he visited Burbank Cards. Ken had some unbelievable, just monster cards that he was showing off. I know monster, is it possible that could be an understatement? But they were just monster cards, mind-blowing, literally cards worth millions of dollars. And it was also fun to see the reaction that he got from Rob, the Card Father. Is that a cool name or what? The Card Father. It was great. And Ken had some interesting takes. And I watched the whole video, and I had some thoughts on it that I kind of shared with Rich. And he actually said, you should actually share this with the people that watch your channel because it's a good take. So I did. I listened to advice. So let's look at some of this stuff, and then we'll discuss. All right. Here's part one.
Spencer. Here we go. We're in LA. They may like this one.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. This is a scroll, by the way. This is a scroll.
So this is 2005 Ultimate Logo Man 1 of 1 LeBron James.
Filthy. Just ridiculous.
Oh, look at that! Look at that young baby face. I love this card.
High school.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Okay, so
Is there a expected number for this card?
This card is going to go over $1 million. I don't necessarily know how high. The last one we sold was the 2004. It did not get a numerical grade, and I think it sold for like 1.1 million. So the 2005 and a 9 should do really nicely. Dude, seriously.
That's crazy, right? What a card! What a crazy card! Let's take another look at another part of the video.
Is what I carry on me.
Plus, the card father has friends.
So this is the gold vinyl. It is one of 2
PSA 10s of the Patrick Mahomes gold vinyl. Obviously, among the very best 3 or 4 Mahomes rookie cards you can get, and I think the highest one sold, the Shield sold for what, like 4.6 million. First week of August. Yes, and by the way, if you look at the golden auction that's going on right now, we do have several big Mahomes cards.
Live in South Jersey, been a Philadelphia fan all my life. I root for all the Phillies teams. I root for the Eagles, the Sixers, the Phillies. I was heavily against the Eagles. I was saying, Patrick, light them the hell up. I placed a bet on the Chiefs too, just to give myself some good mojo. And luckily they win, because I need this man to do very well. So I'm sorry to my fellow Eagles fans, but I had to root for the Chiefs. Okay.
What do you guys think out there?
I'll tell you what I think. I'm an Eagles fan. Been an Eagles fan my whole life. Ken's not an Eagles fan. By the powers not invested in me by the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm taking Ken's fan card away. You're no longer allowed to be an Eagles fan, Ken. Ken is a fan of money. And that's okay. I don't know Ken. Ken, I'm sure, is a terrific guy. Maybe one day I'll meet him at a show or something. But that's okay. I think that much is evident. Actually, I guess self-admitted. But an Eagles fan he is not. I do think it's sad in a way when you look at a card and it can actually sway you into, not rooting for a team that you grew up with. But anyway, that's just my thought. I thought that was kind of weird, kind of funny in a way to me, that, because I have this card, it's going to go for auction. I have to get as much money as I can. I'm not only going to root against my team, but I'm going to bet against my team. But that's just me, right? Free will, to each their own. Let's watch one more.
Now I feel this is so boring.
It is.
Now everything's
I
going to
skip
be
it.
boring. Oh, yeah, what's this? 86 Fleer Jordan PSA 10. Okay.
Whatever.
This is a nice card. This card was actually voted at the ceremony that Ryan and I were at. This card was voted the card of the year. This is the Zion LeBron
Flawless dual logo, man. 1 of 1.
Card of the year, indeed. Wow. This is crazy. And again, go ahead.
I was going to say, so by the way, with what I'm showing,
My point is to get new people, and the meetings, to get new people interested in our hobby, in our industry, in our business, however you want to put it. So hopefully what I'm showing them is excited, and that's the purpose of this, is to show them really, really cool shit.
I'm excited.
You guys excited? I don't know. Again, that hit me kind of weird. I mean, they're great cards. By the way, card of the year. Who knew? Maybe I'll have to enter one of my cards. Maybe it'll win budget card of the year or whatever. But I don't know. That just struck me as kind of different. But I think differently. I think, sometimes I'll take my wife to Gucci, Louis Vuitton, maybe Tiffany's, and I'll have the salesperson show us a lot of crazy expensive stuff, and then we'll leave. She loves that. When I was younger, I used to play golf. A lot of golf. At least I was hooked. Loved golf. Lived in Phoenix, lived on a golf course. Neighbor was a college golfer. He was really good, and we used to play every weekend. It was just fun. So back then, I went to my first professional golf tournament, saw pros in person, guys in action, and it was something to see. They were playing a game that I was not accustomed to. It was not the game of golf that I played. It was, or maybe I wasn't playing the game of golf, but my buddies and I, we're watching it. You know, we're watching the golf tournament. We're set up in a spot where the golfers hit their approach into the green. And I forget the golfer. I want to say it was Greg Norman, but I forget. But anyway, the golfer had about 110, 115 yards into the green. Perfect lie. He hits the ball with just boom, and that ball lands about 15 feet from the cup, stops on a dime, and I'll never forget this. Sometimes in your life, things stick with you. For some reason, this stuck with me for the rest of the time, for the last 30 years. And it seems insignificant at the time, but you know, you get those moments that they just hang with you. So anyway, the guy hits it, lands about 15 feet from the cup, and the guy next to me in the gallery yells, "Good shot!" And the professional golfer turns to him and says, "Maybe for you." And it made me think. It just made me think a lot that these guys weren't satisfied with being good. They had to be great. They were at another level than the rest of us. Ken Golden, Nat Turners, Jeff Wilson, Steve Aoki, Logan Paul, Charlie Sheen. Yeah, Charlie Sheen, who knew? Gary V's, the list goes on and on. That's these guys. They're the pros. Now, I don't mean that as far as having most knowledge or more skill. That may or may not be the case. I've met guys that have very humble cards that know more, have forgotten more about cards than I will ever know. But I mean the guys with the financial resources that have the ability to buy types of cards that we just can't. Most of us will never be able to afford to do so unless we start selling mystery packs or start doing our own breaks. But that's okay. I'm happy with being a hacker. I'm happy drinking a couple beers with some buddies, shooting 100. That's fun. That's what it's all about for me. That's what our hobby should be about. We shouldn't lose sight of that, right? It's an escape, something enjoyable. That's why I and probably most of you guys got into it in the first place. I read an article in the Boston Globe about sports cards. Real good article. Quoted a guy named Jeff Katz. He's collector, author, former mayor of Cooperstown, New York. He said something interesting. He said, "There's always an irrationality in collecting. But the irrationality in the last year and a half was not to chase cards, but to chase money." And here we are. Here we are. The hobby, in my opinion, has evolved into a monster with no chance, no sign of slowing down. It's a snowball rolling down that mountain. You ever see the cartoon where the snowball just rolls down the hill, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. We're awaiting our fate. Is it going to miss us? Or is it going to crush us? It's a happy thought, right? When I was growing up all those years ago, there was no social media, no Twitter, no YouTube, no Instagram, no card influencers, no $1,000 boxes. No one even knew about grading, no breakers, no razzes, no to the moons or let's goes. Hobby was different. It was a hobby. It was fun. It was different. And I will tell you, like I did before, I'll give you some free advice. It's worth what you pay for it. But guys, I'm not the first one to say it. I won't be the last. But collect what you like. Buy what you can afford. Cherish the relationships that you make along the way. Keep everything in perspective. Keep your priorities straight. Don't get caught up in all the hype, all the noise. There's no shame of missing out. In fact, sometimes you're better off if you do. and don't lose sight of why we got into this hobby in the first place. Why that video got me down that rabbit hole and just Andy's deep thoughts on Saturday Night Live, deep thoughts, Joe Hanley, deep thoughts. I don't know, my mind works in mysterious ways, but I figured I'd share with you guys, let me know what you think. And speaking of letting me know what you think, talked about before, to be eligible for the giveaways. Going to give away some stuff from Grade Saver Pro, the great guys at Grade Saver Pro. It's easy. Just subscribe to the channel, like the channel. In the comment section, just comment with Grade Saver Pro. If you do, you'll be eligible for the giveaway. And if you make a comment about it, you know, about the video itself, feel free to do so. You'll still be eligible with that. But if you just want to be eligible for the giveaway, just comment Grade Saver Pro. If you are selected, my producer, director, editor extraordinaire, Tyler, will notify you for the next steps. And don't worry, we're going to be giving away stuff after each episode. It's awesome. Thanks again, Grade Saver Pro guys. Those guys are just terrific going forward. So I'm looking forward to that and spreading the word about their great product. So that is all for today. If you like what you see, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Hey, if you want to get eligible for the giveaway, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you don't like what you see, do it anyway. Until next time, guys, take care.